weekend.
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
95.7 The Game is an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage local community organizations to refer qualified applicants to us. You can receive the Game and Odyssey job vacancy information by contacting Human Resources at 415-765-4011 or by emailing sfhr@odyssey.com.
San Francisco, an Odyssey station.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
It is the Pregame Show. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Just getting off work, getting ready for work. Getting ready for school, getting ready to jump ahead on the weekend. Appreciate you joining me this morning, Joe Spadoni, for the next hour as we are counting down to week 1 of the NFL season. Man, one more Sunday to go. Just one more. Got a Labor Day weekend, and we could all go all in on Pittsburgh starting next week. Still got some loose ends to figure out, Nick Bosa being one of them. Reigning DPOY. When is he signing? Will he sign? Will he get traded? Well, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media yesterday, and we are going to play some of that sound. Some of the sound we have been playing this week in regards to the 49ers is actually about next 49er, Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback now in Las Vegas. Kyle Shanahan was asked yesterday about him. Got a little snippy. Got a little stickler for certain words that he doesn't appreciate, so we'll get into that. Kyle Shanahan in the press conferences, man. If he ever wins a Super Bowl, and I don't even know if he does, if he'll ever go this the Bill Belichick route of just not saying anything. Because Bill figured out, maybe it took like a decade or so, but somewhere between like the 2006, 7, 8-ish, he just, I'm not talking to anyone. I don't need to talk to anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm out. I wonder if Kyle will ever get to that point. But good morning to all of you. Just waking up, just getting ready for school, going to sleep, whatever you're doing, relaxing, having your dinner/breakfast, whatever you're doing. 888-957-9570. That's the number to participate in the show. And I highly recommend it because I love talking to you, talking with you, not at you, as you all know. 888-957-9570. That's the call or text the Xfinity mobile text line. You could also stream us on Twitch and YouTube. Just search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. And as you know, that's all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And if you don't know, now you know. And be sure to download that Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game. It is free. It is fabulous. And, not only sports, you can get every radio station you want. Live 105's back, baby. Get some killers in there. Let's go. Apparently, they dropped a new single. I need to check it out. But download that bad boy so you can take us everywhere you want to go nationally. And then you can stream us on Twitch and YouTube internationally. There you go. I start today's show with this, though. And we'll get to the 49ers. And we're going to get to what Chris Ballard, GM of the Indianapolis Colts, had to say. No Jonathan Taylor for the first 4 games. He's on the PUP list, if you will. Physically unable to perform. That whole thing's been a disaster, trying to trade him. Jonathan requests a trade. Colts set a deadline. Deadline's not met. Ballard doesn't want, anything less than a first-round pick, yada, yada, yada. So we'll get into what he had to say about the absence of Jonathan Taylor and how that affects Anthony Richardson. Just classic stuff coming from a franchise that's just hasn't gotten it right post Andrew Luck and they're hoping Anthony Richardson is that dude. I start today's show, though, with what took place in the 95-7 The Game draft, the fantasy draft, that is, last night. So, first year, Matt Steinmetz is participating. We got Dan Dibley in there. I think this is the first year he's doing it. We got Alan Stiles. We got Larry Krueger in there, both of whom, I should say, are going to be on for Bonte and Shasky the next 2 days. So, can't wait to see Larry Krueger and Alan Stiles in here. I'll get one of them for the crossover. Hopefully. I mean, they have to say yes. But why would they want to talk to me? Because we have to talk about this draft. So we'll schedule at 8 o'clock. All right, that's fine. You know, some of us have to get up super early in the morning. Myself, Sam Lubin, Alan, Larry. But it's fine. It's fine. It'll be done at, 9 o'clock, whatever, 9:30ish, and we'll be out of there. So we're all ready. We have our draft positions. We've known about this draft date for a while, last couple of weeks. We've been in a big show thread, all this sort of stuff. We get to it. The draft's rolling along. Matt, Steiny, he picked 7th, I picked 8th, so we're just waiting. It all goes fast. I was like, oh, great. This is perfect. We're in a sports talk radio station. Everyone knows what to do. This is going to be a deep draft. People know their stuff. They're on top of it. We all want to go to sleep too. That's great. So it gets to number 7. Pick number 7 at Steinmetz in the first round. And all of a sudden, the draft gets paused. Weird. Why is that? Is someone medically ill? Is someone, I thought there was something serious happening. Why did it pause? I got concerned. Who pauses a fantasy football draft? I had never seen that before. Well, Lucas Alexander, producer extraordinaire and our sports director here at 95.7 The Game, he paused it and was like, hold on, guys. Steiny's locked out of his account. Okay. How long do we have to wait? The timer says 15 minutes. I hope it doesn't take that long, because at this point, it's already 8:05. We're looking at 8:20. It's not even the first round. So Steiny, to make a long story short here, failed too many times to log into his fantasy football account. He's locked out. He now has to auto draft, tries to call one of us and be like, you know what? Can one of you guys just draft for me or something like that? I was like, no, we can't do that. First of all, none of us are commissioners, so we don't have that power. And I don't think Lucas wants to do that for you. You should have figured this out a while ago, Steiny, that you can't log into your Yahoo Fantasy Football account. All right? So, the timer's going until this draft pause is over. It's 15 minutes. And we're about 8 minutes, and Steiny realizes, all right, well, I guess I'll just have to auto-draft. Yes, you are. So we're like, all right, let's resume. Can't resume. Why is that? Well, Lucas, our commissioner's like, yeah, we got to let it just play out. It won't let me just resume it. Tight. So Matt Steinmetz, in Steiny fashion, delayed our draft a good 20 or so minutes. Peak Steiny at 8:20. I'm not trying to, stay up and hang out with my 3-year-old who needs to go to bed on a really hot night in Oakland. No, I don't have air conditioning. Say that's my fault all you want. It's only hot, really hot, 2 weeks out of the year. I don't need air conditioning. I'm fine. But it was a hot night last night. The air quality was bad. They got fires up north. It's leaking down here. It's a big mess. All right? Plus, I got to get up early. Got the morning show. We got the pregame show. We got a lot going on. We got Joe Montana, by the way, the morning show. The morning roast with Larry Krueger and Alan Stiles. 8 o'clock. Joe Montana. How about that? You're going to want to tune in at 8 o'clock. The morning roast. But Matt Steiny. Shame on you. Come on, Steiner. Not knowing your login for the Yahoo Fantasy Football Draft. He's going to get crushed today all day. We're going to discuss it on the crossover. We're going to discuss it on the morning roast because every single member of that, Bonta and Shasky, aren't in our league. So actually it works out perfectly that Larry and Allen are in today because they can voice their frustrations. Willard and Dibbs as well. And then the man himself, Matt Steinmetz, is going to have to answer for his crimes. 20-minute delay in a 14-person league. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. All right. I feel better. 888-957-9570. Good morning on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Should Steiny be exempt from winning the championship? And of course, by the way, you get all your stupid little grades and all that sort of stuff. I think Steiny got an A because he auto-drafted, of course. He did end up with Kirk Cousins. It's perfect. Good morning, Raider Nation. Jason Alguero, Luis Robertson, Raymond Salas, my guy Mark Failer. What's up, Marky Mark? Commenting on YouTube, which is powered by First NorCal Credit Union. We're live and streaming every single day, all day right here on 95.7 The Game, from 5 a.m. all the way through 7. I think of Grandy. Is Grandy on the stream? I think he is on the best of. The Grandy Man. Grandy Man with some name calling in the chat yesterday. Didn't appreciate that. Call me a loser. It's just like, whoa, I was just commenting how all you Niner fans, no one's drafted Brock Purdy yet. Going into the 11th, 12th round. I thought he was the real deal. Like, what are we doing? Come on. Coase auto-drafted Ernie. No, Ernie. When Coase was a couple weeks ago, or a couple years ago, maybe it was last year. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Coase, he had the audacity to be like, yeah, I can't, we gotta delay it. I'm not playing if I'm auto-drafting. He auto-drafted J.K. Dobbins, who was like out the whole year, out like a good chunk of it. Not our fault. He wasn't paying attention. He wanted us to delay the draft. We didn't do that. Then he threw a hissy fit, and he wanted to quit. Thankfully, Big Boss Man covered his stake in the game, and Kyle Madsen took over that team. But no, Coe's no longer invited back. Steiny, he's on thin ice. He's on thin ice. I look like Dirk Diggler with the mustache. Shout out Mark Wahlberg. Appreciate you. El Guero. Steiny did that on purpose since he doesn't have to be up early. I'm convinced he did. I actually think he texted in the group chat and he felt really bad. The Steiny Guru Dibs one. Or Steiny Guru. Oh, it's a slip. Formerly Steiny Guru Dibs. Steiny Guru Evan. So, that's how our night went. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good about my team. Thanks for asking. You know what's feeling good about their team as we segue over to real sports, not fantasy football. Just had to get that off my chest once again. Kyle Shanahan feels pretty good about his team, right? Why shouldn't he? He's been in a couple NFC championships, been in the Super Bowl. He's been this close to winning one. You're one of the favorites in the NFC. You should be feeling great. You found your guy that you feel confident in, the real deal, Brock Purdy. So you should be feeling great. You know, Nick Bosa contract was standing, right? And are they on the right timeline for Bosa? So let's get that out of the way first. Kyle Shanahan on the right timeline for Nick Bosa, speaking to the media yesterday.
I thought it would come probably to this time, just looking at the history of those things. And I'm really hoping it gets done. I know they're working tirelessly at it. John, Hamp, Prague, I know their team is. But hopefully we can get him in here sooner than later.
More from Shanahan here, talking about Bosa. Can he imagine Bosa not being on the 49ers?
Yeah, I can imagine anything. Doesn't mean I like that picture. Of course not. You guys know how we feel about Nick, and we all know how good of a player he is. So hopefully we can come to terms soon and get him here as fast as possible.
He could imagine anything. Guy's got the SpongeBob imagination. That's what he's got. Kyle Shanahan. I just picturing him with a Willy Wonka hat on singing the Gene Wilder, Pure Imagination. When they first walk into the chocolate factory. You guys know what I'm talking about. Apparently they're doing a prequel of Willy Wonka, by the way, with like a young Willy Wonka. I don't know how I feel about that. With Timothy Chalamet. I don't know. We'll see. I think Hugh Grant is supposed to be like an Oompa Loompa. I saw a trailer for it when I took young Benjamin to see the new Ninja Turtle movie. It's like, I don't know.
Can't be any worse than that Johnny Depp one was, like, all those
That
years
was a
back.
weird one. Yeah, Sam. That was a weird one. The Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, that was odd. I think that one was more true to the actual book, but at the same time, Gene Wilder's just, you can't live up to that. So they might as well just go to a younger adaptation of that, because nothing's coming close to Gene Wilder. Nothing. R.I.P. At least Chalamet's got like the curly hair, so it kind of works, I guess. More from Kyle Shanahan talking to the media. Lastly on Bosa, if he's ever thought about trading Bosa.
No. Yeah. I mean, I haven't talked to many people about that, but I know how I feel pretty strongly. I think everyone would agree that.
No. Same sentiment echoed by John Lynch. They're like, no, we're not trading this guy. We got his fifth-year option. No chance. All right. So, status quo so far. We had our own Jason Dumas, Cron 4 sports director, also host here at 95.7 The Game. He's been breaking a lot of stuff lately. He's Philadelphia-based, but obviously he's based now here in the San Francisco Bay Area market, but his roots in Philly. He's broken some stuff over there. The Ben Simmons news, Doc Rivers, amongst lots of others. Andrew Wiggins, he had the first scoop on that Andrew Wiggins was flying back to the Bay Area, and then lo and behold, he joined the team right after that. So, Dumas knows his stuff. He joined the Morning Roast yesterday, and he says that he expects a Bosa deal in the next couple of days. Those are his sources. Take a listen.
I'm expected that they're going to get a deal done in the next couple of days. That's what I was told. You know, I reached out because I myself, just from afar, I'm not on the everyday Niners beat. I can be tapped in if I want, but I usually kind of just play the background. But I started asking myself, like, man, we're like, 10 days away from the season, and this isn't done yet. And I never really looked that much into it because the messaging from the 49ers was like, relax. It'll be fine. I never really had the sense that I should dig. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the messaging from the organization, and everyone just seems so calm about it. But it gets to a certain point where it's like, all right, what's going to happen?
All right. So that's Dumas. He doesn't just say anything to say anything. He expects a Bosa deal in the coming days. What does that mean? Is that today, tomorrow, the weekend? We shall see. There's been a lot of rumors about their Reddit and all that sort of stuff. Oh, he's going to be traded for a massive deal, blockbuster kind of a trade. Don't see that happening. Not from what Kyle Shanahan said. Usually when these things happen, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does happen. There's been precedent before. You know, they said this is going to be tough. It's going to be complicated, all that sort. They've said that. But usually when you're trading someone, they just say, there's no update. I'm not going to speak on it. Yeah, we'll see. We're in negotiations. They keep it very vague and broad. Shanahan and Lynch have pretty much shot down any idea of them trading them. Doesn't mean they can't go back on their word and say, you know what, something changed, because something always changes in the last 24 hours. But it seems like and feels like all arrows are pointing to a deal coming. And that's kind of the last big, deal to happen outside of Chris Jones with Kansas City. The biggest question mark right now heading into the season is where the hell is Nick Bosa, the reigning DPOY? So hopefully that comes to an end this Labor Day weekend. You can celebrate on Labor Day with some steaks and Nick Bosa jersey. We shall see. More from Kyle Shanahan. This is where it got a little interesting. And we're going to play this sound for you first from a couple days ago. Jimmy Garoppolo on with the Sports Illustrated podcast, their podcast network, if you will. And Jimmy Garoppolo, talking about, and he was asked, what's going on with Trey Lance going to Dallas, the whole quarterback situation. And here's what he had to say on Trey going to Dallas and that quarterback environment in San Francisco. Take a listen.
What did you make of the Trey Lance trade to Dallas?
Weird situation. Been a lot of weird situations over there in San Francisco, just to leave it at that. But, I'm happy Trey got another shot, man.
How do you think San Francisco's handled those quarterback situations?
How do you think they've handled them?
I think it's been messy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Not Lionel Messi, who failed to score yesterday and failed to win for the first time in his MLS career. Draw yesterday. He's still so good. Even in a draw, he's magnificent, right? Come on. I need to get me a Lionel Messi. Maybe that'll be my Christmas list. Miami FC Messi jersey. Not a kit. We're in America now, so we'll get the jersey. But that was Jimmy Garoppolo talking about a weird situation. And, I mean, I think we could all agree it's been weird. Doesn't mean it hasn't been successful. But it's definitely been weird. I mean, Trey Lance to Jimmy Garoppolo to Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy and then still get to an NFC championship. And then a season prior to that, you know, you got this rookie and you thought you were going to, you know, get him out there. He's going to start and you basically drafted your heir apparent, but it's all right, Jimmy. Just continue to play. And the first touchdown pass of the year, that was going to be from Trey Lance in Detroit. Okay. Are we going to alternate? Like, what are we doing here? Are we going to have like a 2-quarterback system? Like, those were conversations we were having. Legitimate conversations. Dual quarterbacking with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to alternate plays. So, yes, it's been weird. Kyle Shanahan was asked about, you know, the Jimmy G comments and the Trey Lance interview in Dallas, his first interview with Dallas media. And here's what Shanahan had to say to the media yesterday about it.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to pay attention outside of here. I try to deal with the people in here that I have to deal with. And I have felt very good about that. I did see Trey. I was happy watching him actually while I was eating lunch with his press conference in Dallas. And Trey is as real as it gets. And that's how he talks in here. That's how he is every day. So it was cool to see him handle that the right way. And he did seem genuinely kind of happy. And I feel he's in a good position to move on and do better there. You know, Jimmy is... The comments are the comments. I'm really not concerned about his comments.
Really not concerned about his comments. More from Shanahan on the era of change at the quarterback position between Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
The era of changing is, you know, when we got here, we waited 10 weeks, made a trade for a quarterback, played 5 games, and then we made him the highest paid quarterback of all time at the time. Then he played 2 of the next 5 years. And did really good in those 2 years. His injuries for 3 of those 5 years were legit. It was rough on him, rough on us. And then we made a move to go to a younger quarterback. And that's what we did. We thought he'd be ready in 2 years, and he wasn't. And now we have a different younger quarterback. So that's the situation.
That's the situation. He goes on. I thought I had it here, but you can grab it at the break. Goes on to have a little back and forth with Matt Mayoko at the end there of NBC Sports Bay Area. And it's like, you can admit, though, Mayoko was to Shanahan. It's been kind of weird. To which Shanahan basically replied, he's like, I don't think it's been weird. It's been unusual. Okay. I'm pretty sure if you Google the word weird as synonym, I'm 1,000% sure because I posted on my X feed, Twitter, at Spadoni_Joe. Unusual is a synonym for weird. So Kyle, I think he's tired of the quarterback talk. And he's hoping to God that Brock Purdy's finally the answer. Because he hates these questions. He hates them. I mean, some of it he's brought upon himself. It's been a weird situation. I can't think of anything like it. Hell, Peter King, 95.7 The Game, NFL insider, covering the league for 40-plus years. Part of the Hall of Fame. The voting. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. But even he's like, this is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Stranger than Montana and Young. And Joe Montana, by the way, joining again. The morning roast at 8 o'clock. Can't wait for that. Stranger than, you know, the RG3, Kirk Cousins, or any other, Brett Favre, Aaron, any of that stuff. It's been freaking weird. And Kyle Shanahan to get upset at that word is just the funniest part of it all. I don't think it's weird. I think it's unusual. All right. Semantics here, I guess. Synonyms. Not a big Scrabble guy. Come on, you got to know all the different words, all the different, how they're related. Yeah. But fascinating stuff there from Kyle Shanahan. He just wants it to be week 1. He just wants Nick Bosa in his building. I get it. He's antsy. But you got to answer the questions. And we're going to be hearing from Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo for years to come on this. Now, it doesn't matter this season. I think they're ultimately happy that they moved on, moved past them, and they're happy with Brock Purdy. Why shouldn't they be? Like, Brock Purdy showed in the 8-game stretch last year, at least a lot of Niner fans feel this way, more than Jimmy Garoppolo showed in his entire time in San Francisco. I think some of us are forgetting how great he looked in that 5-game stretch when he first joined the team, how free he looked, how, control he had over the offense and lack of control that Shanahan had over him at the time. He looked free. Let Jimmy cook was the thing. And then as it went on, the trust factor just wasn't there. Well, Shanahan, it feels like, finally has a quarterback he can trust. And what's that going to look like this season? Is it going to look like Matt Ryan after he started really trusting Kyle Shanahan and vice versa, and he had an MVP type of season in Atlanta, going to the Super Bowl, having a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl? Is it going to look like that? That's the biggest question, right? For this 49ers season. Can Brock Purdy truly be that dude? 888-957-9570. That's my question to you. And your thoughts on the Kyle Shanahan and how he's handled this entire quarterback situation. I want to hear from the fans. 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text. Also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And also be sure to download that Odyssey app. We're going to take a quick break. Come on back. More Kyle Shanahan. More of your phone calls and texts. Also, you know what Chris Ballard, general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, had to say about Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor? He compared his rookie quarterback to another famous rookie quarterback from the Indianapolis Colts, and I think it was one of the most boneheaded comments I've ever heard. We'll discuss that on the other side on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high-commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee.
back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Under pressure. No pressure here on the pregame show with Joe Spadoni on 95.7 The Game. Niners, though. Kyle Shanahan. How much pressure is he under? Can't wait to hear from Joe Montana at 8 o'clock. Alan Stiles, Larry Krueger, filling in for Bonte Chasky. They'll ask him. Looking forward to it. You can watch that on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe. Also, ask a question to them. He's like, hey, maybe you'll ask this to Joe Montana. Hey, chime in. 888-957-9570. He knows a thing or two about weird situations at quarterback, right? Right? I mean, it is pretty wild in hindsight that Bill Walsh was just like to the TV, to the media. Yeah, we actually have a quarterback controversy brewing. We got two of them. We got Steve Young and we got Joe Montana. We'll see. Like, can you imagine that happening today? Can you imagine that? Yeah, just have a quarterback controversy brewing between Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell. It's brewing, man. All right, let's relax. AOC, baby. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on my guy. Got a couple Raiders in the draft last night. Fantasy draft. That Steiny's going to have to answer for. Alan Stiles had the best grade in the draft. Maybe he'll join me for the cross-jover. We'll see. Him or Larry. Larry, I don't know how he did in the draft. I got a C, so it's over already. If I get a C, yeah, you're done. It's over. It's not like that's ever been overcome before. I think Grandy got an F. That's always funny. That is funny. I always go by projected points in the first week. And I'm taking on our own guy, Sam Lubman, producer extraordinaire of the Morning Roast and also host of Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys. Tough loss yesterday, Sam, and a must-win for the Giants. Tough loss. De La Cruz with a sick play in the ninth inning there. Speaking of sick, that's not how I would describe the 49ers quarterback situation, but here's a little back and forth I was talking about yesterday with Kyle Shanahan and Matt Mayoko. Pulled the sound. Matt Mayoko, NBC Sports Bay Area, has been covering the team for a long time. Get into it a little bit with Kyle Shanahan. Take a listen.
Jimmy did say, it's been a weird situation over there. Obviously, it's not the way you drew it up, but can you acknowledge it? Yeah, it kind of has been a weird situation here last few years.
Yeah, I think anytime you trade up to the third pick in the draft and it doesn't work out, that's the weird situation. But that is the situation. So that's what happened. I don't think it's that weird. It's unusual that doesn't work out. But I wouldn't think that's weird. I think it's unusual. What do you think?
The fact that he said goodbye, the day after that one season's over, and he's, all the things that happened with him physically, he comes back, he's, on the side field and ends up re-signing and starting, and it just seems like, it's been a unique.
Do you remember why that happened?
I remember why everything happened, but I'm just saying it's been a unique situation.
I agree it's been unique.
His refusal to say the word weird is so unusual to me. He's like, I wouldn't say it's weird, it's been unusual, which, by the way, synonym for weird. Uncanny, eerie, unnatural, supernatural, unearthly, abnormal, strange, mystifying, mysterious, ghostly, unreal, spooky, freaky, otherworldly, unusual. There you go. I don't know why he was... Is it just because Jimmy said it was weird? Is it just because he said that? Or who was it? The host of that podcast, Sports Illustrated, said it was weird? It has been. You can get all upset about it. Just asking the question there, Kyle. Jeez. Speaking of asking questions, GM of the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard, took over back in 2017 for Ryan Grigson. He tried to help Andrew Luck, try to turn that whole franchise around, if you will. It didn't really need to be turned around, but you need to protect Andrew Luck. The guy was getting beaten and battered, and they never addressed the offensive line. And eventually he retired, still in his 20s. Hell, how old is Andrew Luck right now? Wasn't it just the 4-year anniversary of him retiring. Can't believe it's been 4 years. Yeah. He's 33. He was 29 when he retired. 29. He was on like a Hall of Fame trajectory. This is one of the most can't-miss prospects in the history of sports, and specifically in the NFL. This guy was groomed. He knew it. He had the size, he had the smarts, the ability, everything. Arm strength, talent. Nice guy. Perfect. Everyone loved Andrew Luck. If you didn't like Andrew Luck, chances are you were the problem. But Chris Ballard, speaking of more problems in Indianapolis, Jonathan Taylor, what's going on there? Got a career year 2 years ago, had some injury troubles last year, but he wants to get paid. Like all the running backs this offseason want to get paid. Saquon, he wanted to get paid. Got like a $900,000 bump with a lot of ridiculous incentives. Josh Jacobs wanted to get paid. He held out. He got a little more, about $2 million. That's great. Now, Jonathan Taylor's like, I want to be compensated. Actually, I want to leave. So I'm requesting a trade. To which the Colts and Ballard are like, okay, well, we'll put a deadline on that. And if we don't get a first rounder in that time, you ain't going anywhere. Deadline passed. No first round pick. You're going to stay. Jonathan Taylor goes on the pup. It's all nasty. It's getting messy. The owner was involved. He's making comments like, you know what, if I'm dead and Jonathan Taylor's dead, the league goes on. Not something you want to say to your best player on offense. That's not something you want to say. Quentin Nelson was standing. But here's Chris Ballard talking about repairing his relationship with Jonathan Taylor yesterday. Take a listen.
It sucks. It sucks for the Colts. It sucks for Jonathan Taylor. And it sucks for our fans. It does. And it's where we're at, and we've got to work through it. And we're going to do everything we can to work through it. Relationships are repairable. They're repairable.
I didn't believe a word of that when he said relationships are repairable. Then he repeats himself, repairable. Did he say that with much conviction? I don't think so. Oh my God. Here's more from Ballard on the sucky situation and how that's going to affect Anthony Richardson with no Jonathan Taylor.
Do you think that stunts Anthony's growth or hinders his early development, not having Jonathan next to him?
But look, when you don't have a great player, but I don't think it stunts his growth. No, not at all. Hey, but it doesn't, I don't know. Did it stunt Andrew's growth without a special back?
Chris, what stunted Andrew's growth was not having an offensive line and not protecting your future Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what stunted his growth. Guy was getting beaten and battered. You lucked into two Hall of Fame talents back to back, Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck, two can't miss prospects. And you couldn't do the simplest thing there is when you get a Hall of Fame type of talent in a young talent in Andrew Luck. You couldn't protect him. You took over for Grigson, and you thought, you know what, all I need to do is protect it. You couldn't even do that. 2 years into your tenure, you retired. You got fans booing him at a preseason game. That's on you. And now you have an opportunity. You draft this kid, Anthony Richardson, out of Florida. He's this raw prospect, but man, he's got talent. A lot of talent. We'll see. Not the arm talent of an Andrew Luck. He's got a cannon, but he doesn't have the touch. He doesn't have the accuracy. Can he work on that? Well, a nice way to work on that is to have a safety valve like a Jonathan Taylor. That would be great. That would give my young guy confidence. That would be awesome. But no, we're just going to compare him to a can't-miss prospect like Andrew Luck. Be like, oh, well, you didn't have a special back. Like, what are we doing here? Come on, Chris.
It sucks.
I know. How's the quarterback position been for the Indianapolis Colts?
It sucks.
I know. Man. We got one more segment coming up here. Crossed you over. We'll see. Is it Allen? Is it Kruger? Is it you? 888-957-9570. We'll react to more of your calls and text, as well as the YouTube chat, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. This is the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. Come on back. One more segment, 95.7 The Game.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
Okay, next time you're at the store.
quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
You got stunts Anthony's growth or hinders.
It sucks. It sucks for the Colts.
It does suck. You know what doesn't suck? Morning roast. They got Joe freaking Montana. 8 o'clock. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Maybe the greatest Bay Area athlete of all time. Cool Joe. 8 o'clock. Be there or be square. Think he knows a thing or two about quarterback controversies? Situations? Perfect guy to talk to. Perfect. And he was a big Jimmy Garoppolo guy. Joe Montana. Paisan, both of them. Shout out. Let's go. But his whole thoughts on the Trey Lance saga, Brock Purdy, what have you, are going to be very, very interesting. I'm sure he was happy about the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. His Kansas City Chiefs. Always kind of those weird ones, right? It's like Joe Montana, forever 49. He's got that little Chiefs thing at the end. Little stint. I don't know if that's going to happen with Steph Curry. I think he'll be a Warrior lifer as we're comparing Bay Area legends. You know, Barry obviously had his early stint with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates legend as well as the Giants. But there is something about one player staying with one team and one franchise his entire tenure that just kind of makes it special. And I think that's why ultimately, and hell, it's probably already happened, that Steph Curry's the most beloved Bay Area athlete of all time. But for a long time, it was Joe Montana. Hell, you know, Joe Shasky, biggest Niner fan I know, was on the station. He's always on the station. Not today. Joined his Labor Day weekend, little extended one. Good on you, Joe. We're going to need him full and ready to go week 1 against Pittsburgh. But he was saying, yeah, his own mom didn't want to root for the Niners anymore because they got rid of Joe Montana. That's how much he was loved here. That fans of the Niners are like, you know what? I'm going to be the original player, Stan. That's my guy, Montana. You did wrong by him. I'm going to the Chiefs. All right? I'm a Chiefs guy now. It's wild. It's wild. But now that's the whole thing. Player standing, more being a fan of a player than the team. It's kind of what's been going on a lot with the 49ers, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo. It's kind of what's been going on there. You're used to seeing that in the NBA. Not so much in the NFL, albeit some outliers, again, like a Montana. But it feels like it's turned into this sort of player stand thing. And that's why it was so important to move on from it. Now, I don't know if there's any Sam Darnold stands. Is that a thing outside of USC graduates? Shout out Lucas Alexander. Fight on. Actually, not shout out Lucas Alexander, commissioner of the 95.7 The Game League. I think it's 95.7 The Lame is what we call it. But come on. Giving Steiny 15 minutes to figure it out, even though he's locked out of his Yahoo account. Couldn't have done anything anyways. Let the guy auto draft. Let him auto draft. Come on. Still bitter. 15 minutes. Please. Get it together, Steiny. Think he has Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins as a quarterback this year? Oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait. He got an A+ in the draft, though. And those auto drafters almost always win, it feels like. Almost always. And we got an auto drafter coming in to do the crossover right now. Alan Stiles, who'll be in with Larry Krueger here in about, 8 or so minutes. And they got Joe Montana at 8 o'clock. Krueger can come on in here too if he wants. Let's go. I like in the shirt. Is that a Patriots shirt? Bet against us? Oh my goodness. He must have drafted some Patriots last night. We're just talking about the draft yesterday. The 95.7 The Game draft, by the way. I think the draft chat itself could be an entire segment. Got some name calling in there. Mark Grandy over the top. The Grandy man just absolutely called me a loser out of nowhere. I was like, whoa. Nice guy, Mark Grandy, taking shots. I didn't appreciate that. Alan, did you appreciate that?
Yeah.
Or did you appreciate
I did.
taking Jonathan Taylor within your first 3 picks? He's out for the first 4 games. You know that, right?
I know that now. I think basically what happened was it says at the top that it's auto draft, right? But everything below it doesn't. So I'm clicking, and I wanted Justin Jefferson with the first pick, so that's who I took. So I didn't even realize auto draft was on because it was taking who I wanted until it took John, and then it's clicking, and the timer is still going down for some. If it's auto draft, why is there a timer?
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't realize, I'm why is this thing broken? Then it takes Jonathan Taylor, and then I say, oh, I look at the top and I see auto draft. By the way,
Were you on your way real quick? Were you on like a MacBook, or are you like on your computer?
I'm on the Mac.
Okay,
but,
so you got to go to the phone.
Well, let me start here though. I was peer pressured into joining this league.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
a daily fantasy guy. I like Prize Picks. I like Underdog. That's my thing. Lucas basically handcuffed me and said, "Hey, you're a part of 95.7 The Game. Everybody's doing it." And I told him no at first because I already gave a donation last season.
You're acting like this is like someone like
and he did
offered
it
you
again.
smack on the street. Everyone's doing it, man.
and he did it again. And
you
he
didn't
said,
take the DARE
no,
program,
it was
did you?
basically I'd be a bad employee if I didn't join.
Well,
so I joined.
Speaking of bad employees, Matt Steinmetz. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Getting locked out of your fantasy account?
I didn't even know what happened.
My 14-year-old jumped in the room and he's like, "Who's Steenie?" I'm like, "Well, Steenie is holding us up. That's what Steenie is."
15. I didn't even know you can pause a draft. I didn't even know that was a thing. You could pause an NFL fantasy draft for 15 minutes. And then Lucas, like halfway through it, when Steiny realized he can't, we still have like 8 minutes to go in this pause. He's like, "Yeah, I can't restart it. It won't let me." Tight. It's not. I don't have to get up at 3:30 or anything. I don't have to put a 3-year-old to sleep. It's fine. No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Now, who'd you guys take first?
I ended up taking.
I took Justin Jefferson.
You got Justin.
You had the first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you did get Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
I got.
What pick? What pick
I got Nick Chubb. I was 8, so I was like middle. I have to go.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Me and you got bad blood. I had Chubb in the queue, man. I was picking 9.
Oh, you were right behind me. And Steiny was right before me.
Yeah, so I was right before Steenie. And
Steenie.
I took Garrett Wilson. A little bit of a projection. Projection there.
That's fine. No, the Jets, I think, I felt pretty good about it. No, absolutely. I feel good about the Jets this year. Their defense, I wanted them late too, but defense is like hit or miss. I end up getting the Broncos and stuff like that. It's always funny seeing the people in our group and in our station when they start doing kicker first, when they start doing defense. I think Sam took the Niners. I'm not sure if I'm putting it on the spot here. Sam Lubman, I'm playing him week 1.
Well,
he took the Niners defense in like 8th or 7th or something ridiculous.
I think that was Grandy.
Oh, was it
Grandy kept doing stuff like that.
That's why he got an F.
Yeah, Grandy Grandy wants to be Kyle Shanahan or GM. Grandy's taking it too seriously. He's either going to crush it.
That's why he called me a loser, I guess.
He's either going to crush it or it's going to be bad for Grandy because he was trying to go outside the box, and I appreciate it. He didn't go outside the box. I mean, he left the box entirely.
Speaking of going outside the box, man, and maybe it's not outside the box. You guys got Joe freaking Montana?
Yes.
8:00 today?
Yes, we do.
Come on, we're burying the lead here.
Not a big deal or anything.
Like one of the greatest quarterbacks.
Don't treat us any different.
You know, we always talk to Joe. He asked if he could come on. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, we got some
not?
time.
He was out there in England, not England, but Ireland, right? Was he out there doing the Notre Dame stuff? I'm sure he was out there with Brady Quinn and those boys.
Yeah.
Well, he said that Marino's the greatest quarterback of all time.
I saw that.
It's like, Joe, you beat him in a Super Bowl.
It is pretty wild, though, like the reverence that Dan Marino, he never won one. And like we like to put the quarterbacks on this huge pedestal. If you don't win one, it's like whatever. But Dan Marino, everyone goes back to him because of what he did in those offenses. And they weren't catered to, the passing style. Larry, I wasn't alive back in the 80s, so maybe you can speak to this more. Like Dan Marino, his skill set would translate so well today, and I think that's what Joe was touching on, right?
Well, I mean, the guy just had a ridiculous release. Yeah. I mean, just just a hose of hoses and 2 smallish receivers. I think Joe's point is if you gave him guys who were 6'4", with big time speed in a passing offense with all the defensive changes that Marino would have been. But Joe's just being humble there. I mean, come on.
I mean, he's being humble.
Joe is better than Marino.
I mean, he's also doesn't want to just admit that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. He really doesn't want to do that. In his heart as far as that's the competitor he is.
Yeah.
Like, why would ever? Like Michael Jordan would never say that. He would never say that, right? He's like, no, I'm the greatest.
Right.
I never lost.
But
the
he
Super Bowl.
definitely would not say LeBron.
No,
that's not coming out of his mouth.
Never.
Well, I'm wondering now, and even though he has one, is Aaron Rodgers of this generation's Dan Marino?
Ooh.
Even though he does have one.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways he is. He has that quick release, and Rodgers, I think, is in some ways almost better as far as just Marino had the gun, and Marino had the unbelievable speed on the ball, but Rodgers' accuracy is just ridiculous. I don't know if you guys are watching any of the Hard Knocks, but
the red-blue circle, red, blue, and he's just nailing each one.
I mean, the guy's just unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though. Rodgers and Brady played in the same era. Brady's got all the rings. Rodgers only has one ring.
Right.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And they only got to one Super Bowl. I mean, obviously Marino got to one, but never won it. So, like, I think of Aaron Rodgers more, and then maybe I'm wrong with the comparing there, but he come up short a lot in the NFC. A lot. He has come up short.
To the Niners.
I was going to say, thanks to who?
Yeah, no, exactly. The Niners or whoever, the Saints or whatever.
Different iterations of the Niners too. He's gotten worked by the Kaepernick Niners, obviously the Harbaugh Niners, and even now the Kyle Shanahan Niners.
Old man Tom Brady, kicking the field goal.
I'll never forget the Rodgers Super Bowl win over the Steelers. I get invited to a Super Bowl party. My wife has some friends. They're like, oh, they're friends of they're friends. They want to invite us over. They're kind of Steelers fans. I'm like, honey, I got a huge wager on Green Bay. Huge. She's like, well, just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We get to their house. It's a freaking Steelers shrine.
Oh my god!
Everybody at the house has got a Steeler jersey on. What's the
terrible towels?
The terrible towels everywhere. The entire family. I mean, this is like the first family of Steelerdom.
Well,
and I didn't have the nerve to tell them. I'm sitting there the entire time watching this bet cash, not cheering one time because these people were just distraught.
Yeah.
And then I said to my wife, I'm like, you know what? We're never getting invited back, right?
Ever.
Because we're synonymous now with this loss because we don't know these people that well.
Yeah.
I'm sure. She's like, no, we're going to be back all the time. We've never been invited back to that house because we're synonymous with that loss.
I would never do that. If it ever happens in my lifetime again, with the Raiders ever make the Super Bowl, I'm by myself. I'm not one of those people that could watch a Super Bowl with my team in it with lots of other people or people that all have a vested interest in said team because I just go nuts.
Right.
Be asking me questions about, I was like, oh, why are they challenging? Just shut up.
Just shut the hell up.
Get out of my room.
I'm like that with the Giants.
Yes.
I get invited to a great party, Game 6, 2002 World Series.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm just like, you know what? And the Giants were up 5-0. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm tempted to go over there. I'm like, no, this could go south. I'm not going to go. I mean, good decision.
No, great decision.
I would have just
there.
been tearing up furniture.
A great decision would be to join the Morning Roast next with Larry Krueger, Alan Stiles, and Joe Montana at 8 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.